Okay, so I just want to start with a number that I cannot stop thinking about. 43%. 43% of Gen Z says TikTok is making them feel mentally drained, like actually draining. Not just a little bit tired, drained. And I promise you, the irony of what I'm about to show you is going to make your head spin. Okay? Millions of views of someone posting about deleting TikTok. Because here's what currently going viral on TikTok. Videos of people living TikTok. I mean, I just have to point out, the app that is making you feel drained is now the place where you announce you are living an app that is making you feel drained. Like, I generally do not understand how we got here, but we need to talk about it. So the Harvard's poll just dropped this month, March 2026, and I mean, just take a look at this. 79% of Gen Z TikTok users say they missed the early days of the platform. Nearly a third of Gen Z deleted at least one social media app in the past year, according to a 2025 Reuters survey. People are going offline, buying flip phones, getting into Vinfree course, knitting, like actually knitting, and posting about it on TikTok. You know what's crazy? I actually love all of that. I think it sounds great. If you want to close the apps and go touch grass and call your friends and just be a person, that's a fantastic idea and I fully support it. Go do it. But, and I just want to be really honest here because I think this is the part that people are insane. When you look at what the data actually shows, the same people who are posting about going offline, who are saying that hate that what TikTok has become, who are deleting apps and buying flip phones, they're spending 3 hours a day on TikTok. 3 hours. Come on, it's like the whole lecture time for me for a day. That is not a digital detox. That is a person who is unhappy at a party but keeps refilling the drink at the same party instead of going home. And I'm sure nobody's surprised by that disconnect. We've all felt it. I felt it. But I think what's actually going on here is bigger than just scroll addiction or bad habits or whatever. I think this is actually a story about what happens when a platform that was built for young people, by young people, kind of gets taken over by the same forces it was supposed to be escaped from. And I think Gen Z can feel that something got stolen for them. They just don't know what to do about it. Okay, so let me show you what the data actually says. Because it's more interesting that just young people are addicted to phones. So this is from Fortune magazine and it wrote about the Harris poll findings, and it said, and I mean, just take a look at this headline. Gen Z is already nostalgic for TikTok, and the platform is only 6 years old. 6 years old, guys. TikTok became a culture thing around 2020. That means Gen Z is grieving a version of TikTok is, and I'm quoting Fortune here, at most a second grader. They are mourning something that is literally younger than primary school. And here's what I actually missed. 41% missed fewer acts and brands, 34% missed raw and filtered content, a third missed the absence of TikTok shop, 27% missed the time before influencer culture took over every corner of the feed. 72% say content feels staged and performative, 53% say it feels more commercial, 42% say it's mentally draining, 40% say it's overwhelming. So just to recap, the platform that was supposed to be antidote to polished, corporate, advertiser-driven media has become polished, corporate, and advertiser-driven media, and Gen Z noticed, and they were devastated about it. Okay? And somebody online put it in a way that I thought was really, really poignant, and I'm going to read it. They said, I missed when TikTok felt like it was ours. And I was like, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what happened. And I get it. I really do get it. But here's what I want to push back a little. Because I think there's a question underneath all of this that nobody is really asking. To give you a window into where I'm coming from on this, I actually tried this. I deleted Instagram for a while. It worked really well at first. I had so much time. It was less distracted. I started just being present, watching YouTube with my family instead of just scrolling online. It was generally better. And then I came back because I was curious if anyone has messaged me and because I wanted to watch some videos. That's it. That was the whole reason. And I'm not saying that to be self-critical. I'm saying it because I think most people who have tried it, most of you watching, have the exact same story. You delete it, it's great, and then you came back within a week because you're curious, because it's there, because it's easier than confronting whatever you were avoiding when you downloaded it in the first place. Back to the point. Okay, so here's the part that I think is actually the most interesting, because there's a real contradictions that are right in the middle of all this. On one hand, 79% of Gen Z say they miss authentic and filtered real content. They hate the stage stuff, they hate the acts, they hate the influencer takeover, they want real. And simultaneously, 85% of Gen Z engage more with authentic, lo-fi content than polished corporate clips, so they know what they want. They vote for it with the attention every time. But here's what's actually happening on the platform right now. TikTok this month is actively pushing creators to make longer videos, so 30 to 80, 180 seconds, because they want to compete with YouTube for ad revenue. The algorithm is literally being engineered to reward the exact type of content Gen Z says they hate. Fortune put it perfectly. They wrote that TikTok's commercial pivot is pulling the platform toward the exact model it was supposed to destroy. So let me just say this out loud. The generation that's going viral about deleting TikTok is doing it on TikTok. The generation that says they want authentic content is still scrolling through an algorithm that has been monetized against them. The generation that says social media is making them miserable is spending 3 hours a day on it. And I'm not saying that to shame anyone. I'm saying it because I think we have given ourselves very good reasons why we keep doing a thing we know isn't good for us. And we call those reasons a trend. And look, I want to be fair here because I don't think this is Gen Z problem specifically. It's not just my problem, my generation problem. I think this is a human problem that Gen Z just happens to be the generation experiencing most acutely. There's a researcher who has been studying this and she found something really interesting. She said that a significant portion of Gen Z users are what she calls lurkers. They're not posting, not engaging, not creating, they're just passively scrolling. 34% of Gen Z social media users primarily lurk, rarely posting or engaging, and 31% admit to scrolling pure out of habit. Venom, scrolling out of habit, not for fun, not for connection, not because there is something they want to see, just habit, like checking if the fridge still has plain food on it. And I think that's the honest version of what's happening. We don't stay on TikTok because we love it anymore. We stay because we've forgotten what we do with silence. We stay because opening an app is easier than sitting with whatever thought was waiting for us before we pick out our phone. And I think that's a conversation we're actually having. Even when we're posting about flip phones and then records and going offline, we're not really talking about TikTok. We're talking about the fact that we don't know how to be alone with ourselves anymore. TikTok didn't steal Gen Z's attention. Gen Z gave it willingly, every day, 3 hours a day. And the platform evolved, like all platforms do, to extract as much value from the attention as possible. And now it looks like every other social media company that Gen Z was supposed to be different from. And that hurts. I understand what it hurts. Because there is something generally sad about watching something that felt like yours get absorbed into the machine. But here's the thing that I think is worth saying. The problem was never TikTok, and the solution was never deleting TikTok, okay? The problem is what we decided somewhere along the way that being online was the same thing as being connected. That scrolling was the same thing as being interested in the world. That posting was the same thing as actually living something worth posting about. And those are not the same things. They have never been the same things. And no algorithm change, no platform shift, no flip-phone trend is going to fix that if we don't first sit with the question of what we're actually looking for when we open the app. Because I went back to Instagram after deleting, not because the app got better, because I hadn't figured out what I was looking for. And until you figure that out, you can delete every app on your phone and you would download them all back within a week. I promise you that. Because I went back to Instagram after deleting it, not because the app got better, because I hadn't figured out what I was looking for. And until you figure that out, you can delete every app on your phone and you would download them all back within a week. I promise you that. Look, if you want to go offline, go offline. If flip phone thing generally makes your life better, do it. If you want to knit and buy thing and have lunch with your friends instead of scrolling, that sounds honestly amazing. And I think you should. But do it because you actually want a different life. Not because it's a current trend on the app you're supposed to believe in. Because honestly, and I said it to myself as much as I said, the most radical thing you can do in 2026 is not go offline. It's figure out what you actually want from your life when nobody is watching. Anyway, that's what I think. Again, drop in the comments. Have you actually managed to go offline and did it stick? I want to know the honest version of what happened.